Alright, now I believe you can hear me. Okay, I'm going to get back into the game now. But this is a first pass for Beaubinski here. Hopefully the sound is coming through alright. I am on the laptop up at my in-laws. We have been celebrating my little one's third birthday party, but everyone's just kind of hanging out. They're watching a bowl game. So here we go with some Heroes of the Storm. Okay, so we are going to get on Beaubinski as Muradin here. Okay, so looking at the two teams, your team's going to have a team fight advantage because the other team doesn't have a healer, and so they are looking for denying your burst and going into their own burst with having so much assassin damage. Right now, with taking Dwarf Block, you're set up to stop Rainer, but Tassadar auto attacks too fast to deal with using Dwarf Block. Now, you want to, if you ever take Dwarf Block right out of the gate, you need to grab your block stacks in the Hall of Storms. Those are 4 free block stacks, and you're going to essentially do that anytime you back or anytime you res. Oh. Sorry, I was receiving a text message there. So, the good news is we can take a little bit of free damage because we're Muradin, but we don't want to have that be just marching that we always do. That Medivh's going to get away. So I actually really like Muradin into Medivh because of Skullcracker and Stormbolt to the same extent. And it can just give you enough of a disruption that now he's not getting through portals. Now, yeah, that doesn't come online until later on in the game. I suppose I should mention I've not actually seen this replay yet. This is a first pass through. Ooh. Tough there. We are using the Spazzo replay system here to be able to see the stats up top, or the talents up top, excuse me. Okay, so Muradin is thought of in a very binary situation, and that being that he's an anti-auto attack tank between 3 health. 3 health is what I saw there. He's a very anti-auto attack tank between Dwarf Block at level 1 and Reverberation at level 4, being able to reduce auto attack speed by 50%. But even if you look at your base here, it's 30% for base, but it's 50% with Reverberation, which is pretty gnarly. And it looks like we did take Reverberation there. Let's make sure. Yep. Thunder Burn is the other one, and it's purple. So right here, strictly on a macro thing, we need to decide with our team who's going to take the camp right out of the gate, because here we are, we're a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes behind taking this camp, and so that's a bit of a problem for us. Now, it's okay to have their camp come in a little bit first because we want our towers to be able to attack theirs. Oh, and you know what? I'm looking to see if the replay shows your fountain time anywhere on this. I don't see it. I'll have to message Spazzo and tell him that he should add a little note. Oh, right there. There we go. My bad. Sorry, Spazzo. I shouldn't have doubted, but I was being blind. So, one little tip. Taps before 1 minute are basically free, and something that it's going to sound stupid, but just by tapping almost on cooldown, you'll see that you'll start winning more games. People are too quick to hold their tap. Oh yeah, and this little one right here showing it. Yeah, Spazzo's got this. Let's get Atlas got this. Now, one thing that's great about Muradin is because he has so much survivability, you can just kind of exist on their side of the map and be in weird bushes and not have to worry about not getting out. Oh, he dies. 2 deaths. Perfect. Now, it should be noted, but there's no such thing as a missed stormbolt. There's zoning stormbolts, but no missed stormbolts. But stormbolts are much like hooks on stitches. A single hook can win the game. A single stormbolt can win a team fight. But we're not going to cry about the time that we miss one. Oh, Gazlo dies? Nope, 20 health. Leo dies, but we get the point. Okay. Now, I didn't ask you beforehand if this was your standard team. Oh, you need to leap out. So back to the idea of tapping basically on cooldown. If we had done that, we'd have had our second tap of the game already go out. I wonder, is there an APM count in here? There is. I wish. So, right here, you have experience soaked. I wish there was a stat, and it may be on his advanced replay stats, but I have not loaded this that way, that showed how much minion experience had been missed. Now obviously we can look down here and see that your team's ahead on minion experience, so in theory the other team has lost more, but I wish that it had that as a counter for us. Alright, Stormbolt Pierce is online. So right there, you jumped on the safe side of Tassadar, and there's not really a reason as to why. Much like we didn't need to pop Avatar there. While I do agree it's always better to pop Avatar too early than too late, we didn't need to pop it, and now Avatar's almost run out, and it was scarier for us then. And so imagine if we had popped that. Oh, she must have got gorged. I see Gorger's on cooldown. Okay, so real quick, we want to talk about and I got distracted a little bit, but we want to talk about use cases for our abilities. Because they've reworked how Perfect Storm works at level 1, we only send out Stormbolts if it's gonna be CC that leads to a kill. Oh, we should win this. Not nice yet. There went chicken. So we win this fight because we have a healer. If we just back up a little bit, they like the bursty fights. Okay, but Stormbolt, we don't really want to use Stormbolt unless our damage can follow up on it, and potentially even our healer can follow up on it. Okay, this is just not showing me in real time. And that was a good jump out. So we use Stormbolt if our damage can follow up on it. Otherwise, we would really only use it as an escape. And there's a few times where, yeah, it can be that escape for us. Alright, we died. We'll come back around and look at that. But yeah, we just got slaughtered here. And again, they have a lot more damage than us with not having a healer. For Thunderclap, we don't use Thunderclap for wave clear. They got rid of the crowd control talent. That was actually the name of the talent 4 years ago or something like that now. And so we don't use it for wave clear. We use Thunderclap to can be able to either one, peel, so the enemy team is in our back line. We need to slow the enemy diver and make it so that our team can get out safe. That was actually a really good Stormbolt into everything. We just need to get out of the polybomb. Oh, and Rainer's just plunking away. Okay, perfect. So we use Thunderclap to be able to peel or to be able to chase, and in essence it's soft lockdown, right? And so we use it in that regard to make it so that the enemy team can't run away as quickly. So that's how we're using it in a chase mode. And we use it against enemy divers so that they can't hurt our backline. So right here, we don't have kill potential, and we're trying to force it, but and then we're just divided, and Anduin's about to die for it. So obviously, I don't know what comms were like, but and we just jumped in. We don't have a dive away in time, and they just crowd control us down. Obviously, I don't have the comms here to be able to comment on that, but we want to make sure that we are on the same page and unified in purpose, not maybe in every action, but in purpose with our teammates. And because Anduin and Orphea were forward and Muradin was back, and Muradin doesn't even have the clear necessary, particularly in this build. And so we weren't going to get anything, and we knew we weren't going to get anything with a team fight there, because Leo had just gone down, Orphea finally came in, but the Eternal Feast was late. The other team should be on a boss. Yeah. Oh, they did that right. Let's see, which one were you? You're 3. But forget again, you're 3. Or if I move off again, you're 3. Okay, so we talked about the use case for Thunderclap. It's either peel or it's chase, right? It's not really damage. You could take Thunderstrike at 13, and then it becomes a damage ability when you're dueling, but it's really not. Okay, so right here as the tank, yes, you provide some damage, but really you're absorbing some shots. Anduin should be in this bush, and as soon as we don't see someone on the map, you need to be in the bush above it, because your job is to anchor, not provide damage. Again, I realize you're sponging some damage there on the Immortal, but really nobody takes any more or less damage. You just have more health. That was a good pull by Anduin. Good set of stuns there. Our Falstad Gust should have come out as soon as Anduin came out of the gorge. He should have just gusted the team away so that Anduin could have walked away as safely as possible. Oh, Stitches dies for this. Yeah, Stitches was foolish. And then back to our use case on Dwarf Toss, which is we certainly took our sweet time coming back around to that. But we've had times where we've jumped safe side on an enemy hero, and even times where we've made short jumps. And short jumps are fine in the scenario where we take heavy impact at level 7, and so we get that big slow off of it. But like right there, we jumped a little bit to the far side of Tassadar, and that turned out to be gold for us. Ooh, you're scaring me a little bit here. Yeah, I think you're going down. But we want to use Dwarf Toss. It's either our escape or our engage. And if we can reliably walk at the person, we want to do that. Now I realize that sounds silly, but in Heroes of the Storm, you can be mounted in a bush. Oh, you don't have enough mana to jump, they've got you. And so with heroes like Arthas and Garrosh, who don't really have any movement, they have some engages, but they don't have any movement. You practice standing in a bush a lot on your mount and just running at people that way. And so we've had a few times where we've taken some small hops as Muradin, and we've stayed on the safe side, but Muradin can be all sorts of obnoxious and in the other team's face if we want to be. We're going to speed through this and get you back alive here.
The blood to feed on readers won't be long before they choke.
So right here, our team's engaging down 20, which is bad news. Oh, big Entomb. Let's see. Did he take... Okay, no, he didn't. So if the Falstad is a teammate, we need to talk with him about the idea of we just got to gust a whole lot earlier. But right there, we went into Assassin Muradin mode, and it was at the expense of our teammates. Okay, so the game's ending. Yeah, it just ended. So we died 5 times. Ultimately, we knew from the beginning that the enemy team had more burst and we needed to play more sustain. And I get it, Tassadar, Raynor, Gazlo may not necessarily be seen as the burstiest heroes, but they've got 3 assassins, with Medivh being an assassin, a bruiser, and a tank. And if we just looked here, they have the top 4 damage dealers. So Stitches, I would actually say, can do a lot more damage than that. I wouldn't mind looking at his replay, but whatever. He did bad on globes. He died 3 times after taking a Gambit quest. And he, yeah. The main thing I would have changed for him is if he's going to go Devour on these 2, he should have gone Devour here, but he did a horrible job of picking up globes if he only got to 21. So he added, let's see, 20 times 25. Now he's at 500. And so he got 525 health that he added. Not big, and then to lose 3 stacks there. talents. This one's fine. I don't take it a lot. If you ever watch one of my replays, I tend to really like Imposing Presence, and I actually think it would have worked really well against the Rainer and potentially the Tassadar. Plus, it would have given you an additional peel tool. And I don't know that your team was ready for you to dwarf launch necessarily. Everything else I think is fine. If you wanted to, instead of Skullcracker, you could easily go to Heavy Impact for the additional peel with the slow. I like Reverberation when I'm not going a Q build, which Q build I think is really good between Bronze and low Platinum. And as you get into Diamond, it doesn't really work as well. And so I, at that point, recommend switching heavily into Dwarf Block and Reverberation. Though, depending on exactly how everything's set up, you might still take Q4. And you may even, if it's not a good time to take Bronze Spirit Rage, you may take Thunderbird into Healing Static. So, I'm guessing that the team just won the game. We're going to see here because the family is coming back upstairs that I can hear. They haven't won the game yet, but they are 11 points ahead in football. So that's a tough one to come back to. Okay, so we're going to end up doing a part 2 to this, but let's see here. Alright, so we're going to look, this is our part 2, but a lot faster. I do think I've got a few minutes before everybody's upstairs, but we're going to cover some macro points. So we don't really need to do much here in this middle fight. We have a strong team fight advantage with having a healer. I even think we've got a decent macro advantage because Medivh's Wave Clear sucks, and he's going to be trying to be anti-burst team fight guy. Okay, so we're at 50 seconds right here. We need to have 2 people dedicated to camping. Now I like that we've got Falstad in the far lane from the objective. I like that we've got Leo down there. So Leor can essentially double soak on this map. So we need to have... Oh, so you did tap relatively early there. Try to tap before 1 minute if you can, just because then it's ready to go for the next round of the objective, or the start of the objective right at 3 minutes. Oh yeah, we got so close on this. So you got a bucket load of health there. I wouldn't have mind for you to go in a little bit more, soak a couple tower shots. You're going to heal it back up with second wind really fast. But here we are, we're at 2 minutes. No one's touched our camp. I suppose I can turn it off of just our team's view, but Stitches is starting their camp. Holy crap, that's a problem. Like, Rainer should be on the camp. Gazlow's a fine choice, but the reason we're ahead right now on soak is because Gazlow's out of lane. So either Rainer needs to be up going off against Chicken, or Rainer needs to be on the camp. So we want to, from a macro perspective again, we want to keep our Falstad, Ramsey, in that top lane. Here 3. We want to keep them on that because we want to stay at a soak advantage. When we have a global, we want to force them to respond to it, but chances are they're not going to have responded to it until after we have built up more of a level lead. And so right now, Chicken's in the middle, cleaning against the lane. We're team fighting. Chicken's got the right call here by clearing that, because look how much of our wall we lost. But if we had our Orphea there, and perhaps Anduin and Muradin were out delaying the objective while Orphea cleared, and while Falstad was top, giving us a clear advantage to level 7. Come online, Orphea goes into bot status, Orphea comes back out. We get 1, 2, 3. Oh, I thought we'd get the third here. Oh, maybe. Oh, he just gets away. Alright, so we get the objective going. That's great. We're not going to kill Medivh. Dumb Medivh. If the root had landed in advance, we'd have gotten Medivh. But 12 seconds, we just got to... We've got to just delay this. And we sacrifice Leo, which if we're going to sacrifice anybody, sacrifice the Leo. So right here we turn and we storm up. Beaubinski just messaged me, so I was typing back to him in Discord. But we're not making use of our global to generate a level lead.
Cavalry sacrifice not be in vain.
Yeah, we got the objective, we won. We don't have a level lead. We don't even really have a structure lead off of it. We got some damage up here. Falstad flies out, I like that part, but we just hit level 10 and we should be using this advantage. Instead, we let them get level 10, we let them clear our camp, and again, we cast that rather early. But see there, I liked the use of Dwarf Toss. We used it to get out. Unfortunately, Orphea just got hooked and gorged. We saw that one before. So for I don't know, I don't like Orphea and Silver. I feel like we could just play Jaina and get more value for it. See right there, if we had all been on Raynor instead of some on Medivh and some on Tassadar and some on Raynor, Raynor would have died and we would have won that fight even better. Instead, we traded. But so anytime this siege camp is yellow, we basically want to take the camp. It's a 4th lane of experience on this map, and we're just not using it very much. And again, for Ramsey, I like Falstad. I like Falstad at all levels of play. I think that you're going to get value. I just want Ramsey to use their gust way earlier. And so right here, this is the turning point of the game. If you remember, we won the first objective. We won the fight around it. We actually won the fight around this objective. But then we evened the fight. It ended up going even, where at first we won it. Well, now, round 2 on this objective, they won the fight. I jump back to the heroes. And I think they win round 3 too. We win round 3, but we didn't get the objective capped, so now we've got to defend. That one was unfortunate. We jumped into the Gravo bomb. Or not the Gravo, but the explodium charge. So right there, we backed up and then used our avatar. That's unfortunate. We want to use our avatar to stay in the fight, not use it after we're out of the fight. If we're out of the fight, then we just save it. If we're going to re-engage and we have all of our team, great. But and unfortunately, we spent too much of the replay review looking at this. I like the idea of just hurrying and taking this camp. And I like the call to take this bottom boss.
Those soldiers are pouncing on you. Come on, we've got
Ooh. That was a great leap in. That might be the best. Okay, Falstad. And now you gust. Falstad's used gust to save his own hide, but not to save Anduin. I just messaged you, Bo, about if these are teammates or randos. So we'll see what you say.
we took back our camp. Well done.
Thanks, Nathanatos. I'm hoping it's insightful. Ooh, great one there too. So we've had some good choices. The camp into the boss have been good. We've had some great storm bolts. We do want to work together, and this comes as we spend time playing with teammates. But right now we're essentially working as 5 randos, right? And that happens. You'll see even very experienced teams where it becomes 5 randos. How is the sound? The Medivh has been trouble for us. So a mantra that I want you to develop here. Oh yeah, this is a bad fight for us here. You come back up, and this is where we engage down 20s, and we go Assassin Muradin, which I get it. The Mountain King likes to fight. That's his gig, right? But we just ate so much damage, and our team won't recover. Falstad even dies to the minion. Did he have barrel roll? Maybe. Here, let's see. Barrel rolls down. He's been gorged. Oh, he doesn't have barrel roll. That's what killed him. Dang it. Okay. So I am next going to come into Discord and load up the Mad Buddha tool.
MVP.
It's going to take me a second to find it. Ooh. All right, let's see. Heroes profile. 9 types of ground. Dang it, where did I put Mad Buddha's tool? There's so many things. Oh, there we go. Boom. All right, we go here. All right. So here's our Alterac pass. We're going to bring up characters and Muradin. Muradin. Boom. There you are, friend Muradin. I think we can move this around. Perfect. Okay, so if our team is trying to delay and we have Falstad in the off lane and Orphea clearing, and we're on bottom, which we were, Muradin can easily hang out here, here, even potentially out here in the river. And Anduin, let's see, Anduin. Oh, Anduin wasn't in the game when this tool was created. All right, so in that case, Anna is going to represent our Anduin. If we have Orphea, who's going to be represented by... Oh, she might actually be on this. It might be old enough for her. No, she's not. Dang it. All right. Orphea is represented by Nova. Anna is Anduin, and Muradin is Muradin. If we have our team here, and Chicken is up in the top lane, clearing a wave, getting us that experience lead, and Nova, who is Orphea in this case, is clearing that middle camp. Anduin, who is Anna on this map, can be holding this position. Anduin is now able to help Orphea here or Muradin here. But Muradin, we're saving our dwarf block, or we've loaded our dwarf block. We're saving our dwarf toss so that if the enemy comes in, we're able to dwarf toss to the point that Anduin can rip us out of the air and save our life if we totally get collapsed on. But what we're doing is we're providing vision, and we don't let the enemy come into this area for free. We just don't. And so that buys our Falstad time to get us the wonderful level 7 on that first objective. It allows our Orphea to get a full clear here in the middle. And just even our Leoric, hey, we can still use a Leoric. Leoric's getting an experience lead down there. Now, if the enemy team comes up, the first objective is still 30 seconds. And so we come together. We've hopefully gathered a little bit of a lead with our presence out on the map. We aren't giving away free structures in the middle lane to the camp. We're clearing that. But then we come together and do a team fight. The first 10 seconds of the channel don't really matter. It's the last 1/10 of a second is the only bit of that channel that matters. Before that, what does it matter? So we talked about that. Next, we had one thing that we ignored a lot throughout the map early, and that was the camp. Late, we had a time where we took the camp and then the bottom boss to make it so that they couldn't just free push with the boss, and they made some mistakes. We got some kills, and that was really good for us. And so I'm hoping as we play this map more, we find some of those macro advantages. But for our Muradin in specific, Muradin can be here in the river and can just do absolutely stupid stuff with survivability. He owns the river because he can leap away. He's got armor charges if you're Dwarf Boss. He's got Avatar if he needs it. And Anduin is just staying close enough that he can pull us out if we got to. And the enemy team likely puts a lot into that engage to get us. And so it's not that we want to just be standing still in the middle of the river and get a big hook from Stitches and gorged and we're dead. But we can make sure that they're not seeing us any faster than we're seeing them. And they know that we have the intel and our team can scoop up a couple more experience globes and then teleport in and get together. I'm going to clear this. Actually, I'm just going to shut this down. And no, I don't want to exit while I'm live. We're going to come back here to Heroes of the Storm. We're going to exit here. Next, we're going to take Muradin into try mode. We're going to go back to some of those use cases that we talked about. Hopefully some of the echoes have died down, but all right. So one thing I would tell you is don't feel bad about taking a hero into try mode or AI. The people who make fun of that are frankly stupid. There's nothing wrong with spending time here learning combos. You, for example, on Garrosh, if you want to learn your combo of using Warlord's Challenge or your combo of E to Q, you can do it 100 times here in try mode in minutes, where in the course of a game you might only get 5 to 10 of those chances to practice your Warlord's Challenge combo. You might get 30 chances to practice your E to Q combo with Garrosh. Okay, so we talked about the idea very early on in a game. You just want to jump. You're in the Hall of Storms. There's no timer on these block charges. So now, before the match has started, I have 4 block charges. Now, I can use those 4. And Arthas died, so that didn't help. Alright, ally hero, Malfurion, you're just going to cause more trouble. Alright, so Arthas is going to start hitting me. He's going to use up those charges. And I can instantly get another 4. Now I told you not to do short hops, and we can see how that one's already hurting me here. But since there's no duration, he's going to die because Bot Arthas likes to sit in tower range. But since there's no duration on them, we just instantly start with that if we're Dwarf Toss. Just boom. Our mana will come right back. We're going to have those to go. Anytime we visit the Hall of Storms, we do this. Anytime, like if we're hearthing, if we die and we respawn, whatever, doesn't matter, we're going to do this. If we've left a fight and we know there's going to be big travel time, we can leap, mount, and now we're running off to the next lane. Enemy Arthas died because he was zeroing in on trying to kill me behind the wall. But we do that just to maximize those charges. Too quickly, we're going to come to here. So, we talked about Muradin being very binary in his
Choose a talent. Choose a talent.
His picks. Again, most people are going to tell you go Dwarf Launch or Stone Form. I'm going to tell you to take Imposing Presence and then rewind. So this is kind of your basic anti-auto attacker build with Muradin. It gives you a lot of survivability. It gives you all sorts of tools to use to stay alive, to be aggressive out on the map, and to have a lot of fun there. To reset talents, my personal favorite build is Q build.
Choose a talent. Choose a
And
talent.
that,
Choose a talent.
I play this variant of it. So Q at 1, again, they nerfed this. I highly anticipate they're going to bring this back, but it still works really well from bronze up to platinum. It's not until diamond that either auto attacking might get you killed, or the other team's just not going to let you get free auto attacks. Now you can still get really good stacks off of killing people with it, but it's not as easy. Echo's much better now. I don't know if you're talking about Thunderburn, which I think is fantastic. The damage is great, but I think for the attack speed slow and the duration increase, and even just the extra heroics that you get from the CDR, that's big too. But for Q build, again, you're gonna be able to get these stacks in lower ranks, especially. Fights are going to go longer. You're going to have more time to auto attack. They're not going to be focusing you down. Lots of fun. It's great on Battlefield of Eternity. You'll be hitting the Immortal for 1800 damage. Skullcracker, I do miss the old Skullcracker where it increased his auto attack speed, but other than that, I think it's just fun to have that little bit more. I do really like the idea of heavy impact. I miss when it was a stun, like it used to be, even if it was on level 16. But if you're highly coordinated with your team, heavy impact's huge. Skullcracker is essentially a 30% increase in damage without having a qualifier. Give him the axe as a 50% damage increase, and it has lots of qualifiers. So I just will always take this. Haymaker, again, in a highly coordinated environment where you're talking with your team, it's going to be great. If you just want to play Muradin as an assassin, it's going to be great. But for just being a damage sponge side of the tank, Avatar is going to help quite a bit. Bronzebeard Rage, they did nerf it from where it was. It used to just be so much easier to proc the additional healing, but they did give it more additional healing with the Stormbolt. And so I really still like this. Healing static does work very well with the Echo. Thunderstrike, the additional armor people forget about all the time, but can be huge. 30 armor. I don't have the math in front of me, and I'm not going to be able to do it just off the top of my head, but if you have 50 armor, it doubles your life. And so 30 armor, it puts you somewhere in that. It's going to take, let's see, you take 70 damage out of every 100. So to get to that same 100, they have to do almost 150 of damage to do 100 damage. And so that's a huge amount of life that you add. And so having that additional 2 seconds, if you're going into a very big Dwarf Toss build may be worth it, but Bronzebeard Rage, I would recommend taking that in all cases where you're not going to wake somebody up with the damage. So don't take it with Deckard and stay a while, and don't take it with Anna, or I suppose if you have that scenario where you have both Muradin and Mal'Ganis, perhaps you're not taking it. But it's been the go-to for a long time for a lot of people, because who doesn't like lighting themselves on fire, having this aura where you just burn people that also heals you. Again, I really like this for Imposing Presence. It gives you the passive if people are hitting you, now they're doing less damage to you, but you also have the active that can peel, that can reduce the damage even more. And then Rewind has just been a huge one for such a long time. Hardened Shield has its place in a very bursty team, but Rewind has so many great uses. Okay, I am going to toggle off the enemy hero for a moment so that Arthas doesn't just tower dive me. We talked about the different use cases here. So we had one jump where we were on this side of the enemy, and we jumped to there on Raynor, and his exit path was to the right here. So instead, imagine if we had jumped, toggle cooldowns. If we had jumped staying on the aggro side of Raynor, he now has to at least get around us. So we use Dwarf Toss as an escape or as an engage, not when we could have just walked the distance. Note your ranges of Thunderclap. If I hit someone just on the edge of the circle, they're still slowed. we talked about the use case for Thunderclap of being if our team's behind us and they're chasing, we can use that to slow the enemy. If they are in our back line, we can hit this and then hit with the Stormbolt. Them being slowed by 30% means that we're more likely to hit the Stormbolt. The Medivh had plenty of times where he was juking us, and the only reason he was able to juke us is because we didn't hit W first. Now, use cases for Stormbolt, again, if it's going to be a kill. Gone are the days where we have to throw out Qs to stack for Pierce. Gone are the days where it works for Perfect Storm. We want to use it when it's going to be a kill, or when we need it to save our enemy. So if they're going to dive our team, we W, and then we hit them with that, if that's going to keep our team alive. Ideally, and you can see when we hit this, the purple swirls around it. Unfortunately, it's not showing the little countdown there, but if ideally we would have that hit, and then at the very end of it, we would Stormbolt them. But it just doesn't always work that way, and so sometimes you just want to hit them with the Thunderclap to slow them down, and hit them with that Stormbolt as quickly as possible because they're diving your back line. Again, I really like having the one key. If you notice, all right, Muradin, stop that for a second. Okay, so here I am. I'm not attacking anything. The range of our W versus the range of our 1. Imposing Presence is a far greater range, and so with that we're able to peel in a greater radius, and it's a 20-second cooldown, so it should be up for literally every single team fight. And the way that team fights sometimes go in lower ranks, we may be able to use it more than once in a team fight. Now, Rewind, we use it when either we've spent all 3 abilities, or we just need the double stun. And so you're able to jump in, stun someone, WQ somebody, you hit Rewind, you WQ them again, and you save your Dwarf Toss to get out. So that again is my favorite build on Muradin. If you want to go with one that is a bit more of an older style, you could go with Third Wind. You go Reverberation, you go give him the Axe, Avatar, Bronzebeard Rage, Stone Form, and then finally Rewind. So this gives you a lot of uptime on the map. It doesn't help you as far as mana. You'll probably still be out of mana, but you're going to be high health a lot on the map. You use Reverberation to get those procs because the duration is longer that they're affected, and so you're procking that more. And then you were able to back then proc off of auto attacks here. And then Stone Form, again, your high map uptime, your high team fight uptime, you're able to proc that. You went Dwarf Launch. In that game, I probably would have recommended Stone Form for you just to give you that little bit more durability. It does stack very well with Avatar. And sorry, I jumped into Twitch to see if there was any comments there, and it was all about echoes and such. But you would have that just fantastic amount of health return. You could even take Unstoppable Force. The 20 armor, I think, is pretty cool. You essentially get a soft rewind because you then have the auto attacks reducing Thunderclap and Dwarf Toss for you. But come in to try mode. Learn your ranges. Oh, I guess I was about to hit 1 for my Imposing Presence, but I don't have. You can see this is my build that I run this on all sorts of maps. I think it's particularly good on Battlefield and Dragonshire, but having your tank, if we were to hit complete quests, it's not going to be perfect for me. So at about level 20, I've probably added about 100 damage here, sometimes more. So here we are, we're on this. We're able to Q. We're able to hit both. We get Qs. Oh, I have toggle cooldowns. All right, let me reset this. Sorry. Come on, guys, reset. You're leashed. Okay. So we come in, we set our fingers right on the keyboard so we don't hit 1 on accident. But now we're a tank that can take a siege camp in 7-8 seconds type of thing. And this isn't on 100 damage, it's on 68 damage. And so it's a very fun way to play Muradin in a very macro sense that can add a lot to lower leagues. Again, as you climb up, it gets more and more difficult to get some of those stacks. But it's a very positive way to play, very fun way to play that I have enjoyed Muradin on for many, many levels. But you didn't make any wrong talent choices. I really don't think Muradin has bad talents. I think that he's got a lot of talents that work in a variety of situations. In high levels of play, you're going to have people tell you he's very binary. You need to take dwarf block. You need to take everything you can to just be this anti-auto attacker. But have fun with him. You'll learn some positioning things. Really, I would say we didn't lose that game necessarily because of one thing that we did. It was a matter of stuff that we could adjust in the macro and coordinating a little bit on team fights. They had more damage. They pumped it into us. We died a lot more. That's how they won. It wasn't necessarily some big mistake that we had a throw pit type of moment. So feel free to hit me with any questions. I am going to go ahead and end the stream on this and hopefully get my family out of here and home soon. But feel free to send me others. Beaubinski, good to check this one out.